I'm going with Jaime Jaquez and Kyle Lowry. They're both about 50% rostered. Please roster these people. Like, I am begging you to add these players to your team. Jaquez, past 12 games, 16 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists on 55, 48, 87 shooting. He looks awesome. Bam Adebayo is now dealing with his hip injury, but I would have endorsed it anyway. I wrote this down before the game last night. Yes, Tyler Hero will come back. I still think Jaquez will probably be worth rostering on that team when Hero is back. Kyle Lowry, he's ranked 83rd on the entire season. He should be on rosters. Past 11 games specifically, 12 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 1.2 steals, shooting 48% from the field and hitting 2.7 threes. These guys just have to be on 12-team rosters. I don't even think there's an exception.
For my first pick, Malik Beasely, who's 45% rostered for the Bucks over the last 4 games. Listen to this. 14.5 points. Here's what shocked me. 7.5 rebounds, plus a steal and a half. He's always going to hit 3-pointers. He's at 3.5 triples, playing over 35 minutes a game over the last 4 games. Maybe he's finally comfortable in his offensive role for Milwaukee. We know they have depth issues, so I think he's going to keep getting a ton of minutes. And as I said earlier, I'm a little worried Middleton's never going to return to all-star production. That leaves a lot of scoring opportunities, frankly, a lot of catch and shoots for Beasley. And if he plays terrible defense, it doesn't affect your fantasy squad. So dive in and enjoy some Malik Beasely.
Nice pick, Ken. My first free agent suggestion for the week is Dereck Lively, rookie center for the Dallas Mavericks. 43% rostered. I am stunned, flabbergasted, bamboozled. I don't know any kind of word you want to toss out there. I cannot believe that he's only 43% rostered. Dereck Lively's been up and down this year. He just missed 1 game on the 25th of November due to an ankle injury, but he quickly returned. A back injury, quickly returned and played Tuesday against the Rockets. 28 minutes, 23 fantasy points, 8 points, 5 rebounds, 2 blocks. There's going to be some ups and downs here. There's going to be a roller coaster, but he's a rookie. I believe it will get better as the season goes on. He's ranked higher right now on the season than a guy we talked about earlier, John Collins, ranked higher than Collins is. Blocks. Yeah, those blocks are very valuable. So he's averaging 1.1 on the season right now. Again, I think the best is yet to come with Dereck Lively. So even though there's some inconsistencies and there's going to be stretches where he might not be good, he's locked into that starting role.
Alex, who's your number 2 free agent grab?
I guess Saddiq Bey of the Atlanta Hawks, former Piston of Shannon's. He's 49% rostered. Jalen Johnson is out, which is unfortunate. He's one of the breakout players this year. He's not expected to return. Johnson will probably be back in 5th of January. Bey has started the past 3 games. Hasn't done a lot extra as a starter. Continues just to play his game. But he's ranked 131st on the whole season. We know he can get hot. Past 9 games, 14 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist with 1.4 steals, shooting 55, 38, 72. Just someone who I think should be rostered when Jalen Johnson is out. Someone you can move in on 4-game weeks.
My number 2 pick, admittedly pretty boring, but Josh Hart with the New York Knicks. He's 49% rostered. Got off to a very slow start, oddly, for the Knicks this season because his role seemed pretty cemented in their playoff run last season. But hey, just remember this. Last season, Josh Hart was ranked 65th in total game production in 8 category leagues. Rebounds a lot for a guard. He qualifies as a guard and forward on Yahoo. And hey, last 9 games, now he's back up to over 30 minutes a contest, over 9 points, 6 rebounds, almost 3 dimes, almost 1.5 stocks while shooting 53% from the field and hitting more than 1 tray per game. I think Josh Hart is back to that role he had last year with the Knicks. We know Thibodeau loves to give his guys big minutes. So I think after a slow start, Hart could be a nice, boring, but reliable add, especially if you need rebounds.
Shannon, someone we saw play last night.
Patrick Williams, 4th-year wingman for the Chicago Bulls. Number 4 overall pick in the 2020 draft. we're starting to see kind of what life might look like for Patrick Williams if the Bulls move on from Zach LaVine and DeRozan as well. Over the past 3 games, all starts for Patrick Williams, he is averaging 33 minutes, 15 points, 4.3 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 block, and 1.7 3-pointers made. He's been solid for that team. Again, this is a guy who, solid lately, but up and down, inconsistent production. He's 35% rostered right now on Yahoo. He is more of a stash. You could play him while the Bulls are shorthanded right now. I think he's worth a look.
Okay, we're going to my first long shot, or my only long shot, our first long shot, which is Derrick Rose. I can't believe I'm saying this name.
What year is it? What?
I know. 9% rostered, so widely available. Started versus the Jazz the other night. Put up 14 points, 9 assists, and 4 rebounds in 27 minutes. When seeing at least 20 minutes a game this season, 15 points and 4 assists per game. They switched up their starting lineup to put him in to make him a starter. And they need an exorcism, kind of like the Pistons and the Wizards. So Rose, he's looked fine this season.
I'm repeating a long shot from earlier because he's still unrostered and playing even better. Isaiah Joe, for your not very well known OKC Thunder, he's rostered at only 19% of leagues. Maybe it's more of a deeper league pick, but he has instant offense out off the bench for the Thunder. Great outside shooter, helps with the floor spacing. And I'll throw in here, we don't really know what's going on with Josh Giddey, if you know what I'm saying. Giddy up. So let's see. That could open up a ton of playing time for Joe if Giddey has some legal issues. Last 7 games for Joe, over 14 points, over 3.5 triples, shooting 55% from the field. His field goal percentage, considering it's almost all threes he's shooting, is amazing. 90% from the line, but doesn't go to the line too often. Even had a 3-block night the other night, but he's averaging just under 1 block and 1 steal a game. He ranks 48th in 9 category leagues per game over the last 14 days. Isaiah Joe is a solid deep league ad.
My long shot of the week, David Roddy, forward, Memphis Grizzlies, 4% rostered. Definitely more of a deeper league option, 14-team plus. Roddy Piper, he came here to chew bubblegum and get buckets, and he's all out of bubblegum. Over the past 3 games, he is averaging 14.7 points, 4.7 rebounds, and 3 3-pointers made per game, taking 6 per game as well from downtown. He started the most recent game for Memphis. Memphis has been kind of playing around with their starting lineup, especially at the small forward spot. You've had Conchar get plugged in there, Zaire Williams, bunch of different options. I think Roddy could get a prolonged look at the small forward spot. They did win against Utah in Roddy's start. I don't expect him to go out there and have huge production, but he can get you some threes and get you some points. And, if you're in a 14, 16-team league and you're desperate, he's going to be a streaming option, especially on weeks where they have the Grizzlies have 4 games.
Jaden Ivey, has he dropped territory?
I think so. Yeah. It's tough. He was like the 11th player to touch the floor for the Pistons last night. I don't believe he entered the game until the second quarter against the Knicks. Also Killian Hayes had a great performance back in the starting lineup and playing alongside Cade. I think Ivy is going to be one of the scapegoats here. It's going to be hard for him. Thompson, I'm more confident, will see the starting rotation, starting lineup again, mainly because Isaiah Livers is horrible. And Thompson has actually shown some upside and has long-term value for the Pistons. But Ivy, it's getting harder and harder by the day to envision him as a long-term piece with this team, especially if Monty is locked in as coach for multiple seasons.
I apologize for suggesting DeAndre Hunter as a drop a few weeks ago, but did not see the Johnson injury, so I would say he's not a drop. Looking through the comments about other drops. Anybody come to mind for you?
Well, I'm scrolling through some poor performing players with high roster percentages right now. Isaiah Stewart, 61% rostered.
Unbelievable.
Is that necessary?
Necessary? Is it necessary for me to drink my own urine? No, but I do it anyway because it's sterile and I like the taste.
No.
You don't need to do that. That's a drops question. Andrew Wiggins is still 71% rostered. He had a big game the other day. I get it. But if you're
even that big day was hollow points. It was just points. He didn't get any knocks. It was
If you're in a 10-team points league, you don't have to do that. Kevin Huerter is 66% rostered. I don't think we need to play that game, honestly. Malik Monk is just straight up better than him. Tyus Jones is a guy we always get questions about. If I don't have him on any of my rosters, I would hate to drop him, probably because I gave up like a 7th round pick for him.
And honestly, it's not like he's going to get more opportunity. He's been playing terrible, getting 30 plus minutes a night, and a fast pace. I don't see what can happen where Jones turns it around.
No, any of those guys that Alex mentioned in that 60% range in 10-team leagues, I think you're better off streaming a player. Whoever the hot pickup is, whoever has 4 games that week, 12-team and deeper, that's another story. Most of those players are still going to have some value. Outside of Kevin Huerter and Isaiah Stewart, please, for the love of everything, just find a different option.